Crystal from Adventuring with Crystal. Today, I want to talk about something that is really difficult for me to do. I'm a 1 on the Enneagram, and I think that every single solitary moment of the day should be spent doing something productive. But I have had to learn, especially since opening the travel agency, that self care is really important and that it's not something that A has to cost a lot or B has to have me in a bubble bath, but is something that I can do in moments when I feel that I really need them and that completely changes the trajectory of my day if I take the time for them. So self care has become just not really that kind of feel good, fake positivity that sometimes it is, but it is the thing that keeps me moving forward as a mom, as a wife, as a business owner, and as a friend to make sure that I'm charged. So, here are a few things that I do that you can do also that cost nothing and don't take a lot of time either. The first is to take some mindful minutes. I do meditate in the mornings, but that is not where I find the mindful minutes are the most helpful. I am talking about single minutes at a time. Often I will do this when I feel myself rushing and losing patience. And when that happens, I will physically force myself to stop, slow down, and breathe. If I'm in traffic and I start tailgating and getting all worked up, I slow down and breathe. Or if I'm at my computer and the internet is going so slow and I need something to load right now, I stop and breathe and take that moment to just relax and change the trajectory so that I'm not holding that tension and so angry because something's not working the way I want it to work. Instead, relaxing, letting my shoulders go, and changing how I'm feeling in that moment from impatient to understanding that I'm given this gift to reset and breathe and change how I'm feeling in that moment. The next is to get moving. If that mindful moment of taking a breath and slowing down does not work, then I'm going to hit the pavement. There are so many times when I'm too worked up to be able to function that I will get up and walk around the block. And sometimes I'll hold my phone to my ear so that I can talk to myself because as a 1, I'm an auditory processor, so I need to talk things out loud. So I'll just pretend like I'm on a phone call while I'm walking around. And usually by the time I am about halfway through the block, I can feel that my heart rate is slowing and I can take the rest of the walk to, again, breathe. Breathing is really important. And notice what's going on. Are there birds chirping? Is the sun out? Is the sun not out? Is the wind blowing? And really get present and grounded in that moment. If I can't walk, then even just standing up. So if I'm in a meeting and things are not, going the way I think they should go, which often happens, then I just try to stand in the back and try to get any kind of movement. If it's just kind of swaying back and forth or picking my feet up so that I'm changing from being worked up and holding the stress to thinking about how is my body moving right now, and that centers me and gets me grounded. I also love journaling as a means for self-discovery. I use the Stoic app. It's free with a paid for version, but I use the free version, and there's a morning and an afternoon or evening journal prompt. And you tell it what you're focusing on that day, and it gives you some prompts for you to think through those things. So if I said I was going to be focused on family and work and nourishment, then it asks me some questions about those things. And at the end of the day, asks me, how did those things go? Those two things help focus me so much during the day that it really has become part of my routine. And on the weekends when I normally don't do it because I'm sleeping in and jumping up and going and doing, I really miss it. I would suggest 5 minutes or less just to jot down what are you going to be doing for the day. Another thing that I've used in the past is an intention circle. So draw a circle on a piece of paper. On the inside of the circle, what are your intentions for the day? On the outside of the circle, what do you not want to do for the day? And then keep that someplace where you can see it. It helps to focus and keep you in a mindset of what is important to me in this day or this week or this month, however often you want to do that. But I find that journaling, writing it down, again, is going to pause you from those thoughts and get you focused and centered, and then give you something to hold on to as the rest of your day plays out. I think that nourishment is a big part of self care. And y'all, I'm not talking about eating green leafy vegetables all day, every day. I'm talking about true nourishment. I remember when I did my first 40 days at my yoga studio, that the book that we were reading was talking about the difference between cramming just Chips Ahoy cookies in your mouth and savoring a chocolate chip cookie that you made with your daughters or that your grandmother made and is sitting there. Something that is nourishing to you does not necessarily mean that it's healthy, but it could be wholesome in a way that it feeds your heart. So think about that and think about everything in balance. Often as moms, we get so focused on what do we look like? What are we eating? How healthy are we? Did we work out? And that becomes another way of beating ourselves up when we don't necessarily have to do that. We can allow ourselves to nourish in a way that is going to feed our hearts and our souls and our bodies so that we are then able and open to the healthy and harder habits to have. I think also it's really hard for us to seek and accept support as parents or as moms or as whatever it is, women, because we're taught that we are going to do it. We can do it. We are the ones. We're the human helpers. It is okay to find help. I thought there can be one thing that I can give up so I can spend some time on my computer at night getting some work done. And what could that be? And for me, I thought, well, let me join one of these meal clubs. And it actually turned out to be the biggest gift because it wasn't just that I joined HelloFresh and I had everything at my fingertips and can cook quicker. It was that it came with printed out recipes. And I did not realize that because I normally cooked from a recipe on my phone, that I was keeping my family from helping me with that because I was the one that owned the recipe. When we switched, they had the recipe in front of them and they started cooking more often. And it was so amazing. It was fun for my girls because they were learning skills in the kitchen. And it was fun for me because I was watching them. And it was just a wonderful self care moment that I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to own feeding my family because they could own feeding me. It was a gift for everyone. The final tip that I have is to pursue a passion, whatever passion that you have that you've been putting on the back burner for whatever reason. This year, one of the passions that I had was crocheting, and I wanted to make a temperature blanket for my daughter. And I am way behind. I started in August when school started, and I am just now in September in the blanket. And yes, y'all, we're in January. But I've decided that I'm going to spend 15 minutes every day working on that blanket because as I'm crocheting, I'm also thinking about all of the wonderful love and positive things that I want for my daughter, and it's becoming an intention blanket. So when she wraps herself in it, she will be wrapping herself not just in a blanket, but in my love and my intentions for her. And I hope that she feels that when she's not with me and cannot hug me. It is important for me to pursue that passion, to complete that blanket, even though, yes, there are so many things that I could be doing otherwise. I could be sweeping, I could be mopping, I could be doing laundry, I could be working on my social media, I could be recording another YouTube video in those 15 minutes. But I want to have that for her, so I've made the promise to myself that it will be done by the time that she leaves this house for college. So I'm giving myself a little bit of time. It won't be done by the end of the school year, but by the time she leaves for college. I hope that you have found some new ideas or ways that you can give yourself permission to find time for self care, whatever that means to you. My ways of self care may not end up being your ways of self care. And I hope that you find something that is truly meaningful for you to recharge your batteries. If it is a bubble bath, then yes, do that. I know I teased about it at the beginning, but candles and a glass of wine definitely are sometimes great ways to unwind. But find something, anything that is going to keep you from burnout as you manage all of the things in life that are coming toward you. And one thing that might help you is if you have vacation coming up, hire someone like me, your friendly neighborhood travel agent, to help you with that. That is something that you could easily take off of your plate. Call me, find out how that can happen. We can set up a discovery call. We can just find out if it's a good fit. And there are ways that you can find to take something off your plate so that you can add some self care to yourself.